Picture a pier, east of NHA Outpost 9, out where the land runs out and the water starts. There's a tackle shop on that pier, small, lit, open early, closed late. Behind the counter, there's a man in a brown flannel and a brown cap and a worn leather apron. He's been there 41 years. He's always awake before you are. He's always already dressed. And there's always coffee made, 2 mugs poured, like he knew you were coming. To everyone in town, Peter Carbonne is part of the furniture. He is the single most unremarkable feature of an unremarkable pier. He sells bait, he sells line. He's been doing it longer than most of the people in that town have been alive. That tackle shop is the front door to Leviathan 7. Not a metaphorical front door, the actual, literal, only way in front door. If you are a person who needs to disappear 12,000 feet beneath the Atlantic and join the organization at the heart of this entire series, you don't get there through a secret base entrance in a mountain. You don't get there through a hidden elevator. You walk into a tackle shop, and you put a coin on the counter, and you say one sentence to the old man behind it. I want to go to the place where the deep meets the horizon. And Peter Carbonne looks at you, the way he looks at a man about to ask for directions to somewhere that isn't on any map. And he picks up the coin, and he says nothing, and he closes the shop, and he walks you down to the end of the pier. That's the door. He's the doorman. And almost nobody who lives in that town will ever, in their entire lives, have the faintest idea. Here's what almost no one knows about Peter. Before the tackle shop was a Leviathan 7 operation, Peter Carbonne worked for the other side. Peter is a retired NHA agent. And I want you to understand how unusual that sentence is. Because in the world of these books, agents of the Null Horizon Authority do not, as a rule, retire. They don't get a gold watch in a cabin by a lake. The NHA is not that kind of employer. Most agents leave the NHA one of 2 ways. They're eliminated, or they're killed in action. Those are the exits. The organization does not generally let people who know what its agents know simply walk away into a quiet life. Peter walked away. Peter got the cabin by the lake, figuratively. He served the NHA long enough and hard enough and well enough that he was granted something almost no one is granted, an actual retirement. He earned his way out the front door, alive, with his pension and his pier and his shop. That happened not long after Marcus first started at the NHA. Their timelines barely overlap inside the Authority, but they overlap. Inside the NHA, Peter was the eyes and ears of a place. Specifically, he was their man at the local level, the quiet observer, the fixed point in the community who noticed everything and reported it upward. If you watch the Miss Anderson episode, you already understand the shape of this exactly. Miss Anderson ran the Horizon Gateways out of a library. She was the eyes and ears of that library, the still center, the one who watched who came and went, the gatekeeper everyone walked past without thinking twice. Peter was the same archetype in a different building. Where Miss Anderson was the eyes and ears of a library, Peter was the eyes and ears of a tackle shop on a pier. 2 quiet sentinels sitting at 2 quiet doors, watching everything. But Peter had a particular skill that set him apart. Telecommunications. Getting a message from one place to another, quietly, cleanly, without a trace. In a world this surveillance heavy, where the NHA's network sees almost everything, a man who knows how to move information through the gaps is worth more than a man who can move a building. Peter spent a career learning how to make communications disappear and reappear exactly where they needed to be and nowhere in between. That's a craft. And it's a craft that turns out to be extraordinarily valuable to a brand new, deep water organization that needs to operate without anyone noticing it exists. Marcus acquired Peter at a very specific moment in the build of Leviathan 7. It was shortly after Cooper had accepted the role of commander of the Abyssal Combat Corps. Think about what that timing means. Cooper saying yes means Leviathan 7 now has teeth, a combat core, a real operational arm. But an organization with teeth and no nervous system is just a body that can't feel anything. Marcus knew he needed someone who could build the system, the connective tissue, the way that people and messages and materiel actually move between the surface world and the deep. He needed a gateway. He needed a doorman. He needed someone who could take the abstract idea of a hidden way in and turn it into a working, repeatable, invisible system. and Marcus knew exactly the man for it, because he'd known Peter for years. Here's the part I love about Peter as the writer. When Marcus came to him with the vision, a brighter future, an organization built to study the truth honestly instead of exploiting it, Peter didn't negotiate. He didn't hesitate. He believed in it. Peter believed in Marcus's vision of a brighter future, and he immediately wanted to help. That's the whole story of his recruitment. A man who'd spent a career watching a powerful organization do things the wrong way was offered a chance to help build one that did them the right way, and he said yes, fast. And then he did exactly what Marcus needed. He got a system in place. The boats, the handoffs, the timing, the coin, the sentence, the entire quiet machine that brings people down to Leviathan 7. Peter built that, from a tackle shop, with telecom instincts honed over a 40-year career. The man who'd been the NHA's Quiet Sentinel became Leviathan 7's Quiet Sentinel. Same archetype, opposite mission. Now I want to tell you about my favorite Peter Carbonne scene, because it tells you everything about who he is. At a certain point, Leviathan 7 outgrows the pier. The engineering gets good enough that people stop needing to walk down to the tackle shop at all. They can move through a gateway built right into the headquarters. Which means one quiet morning, Marcus comes up to the surface to have a conversation with Peter about the fact that his entire job is about to become obsolete. And Peter, being Peter, immediately understands what he thinks is happening. He starts, very graciously, to thank Marcus for the honor of having served. He has, by his own admission, about 6 seconds where he begins planning the rest of his life. He has already chosen a retirement cabin. He has, and I quote him here, already chosen a lake. And Marcus stops him and says, "Peter, you're not fired. You're being promoted." And then he explains what for. He tells Peter that in all the months Peter has been handling the coin, the NHA, the actual, surveillance-rich, sees everything NHA, has not noticed Peter exists. At all. His name appears nowhere in their network. He is, for all practical purposes, completely invisible to them. And Marcus says, that is the most valuable thing a person can be. I want you to keep the tackle shop. Keep being 41 years of local background. And inside that cover, I want you to be my eyes and ears in society. And Peter, deadpan, the way Peter says everything, looks at him and says, "You want me to be a spy?" And Marcus says, "I want you to be a listener." And Peter says, "That is the same word." And Marcus says, "It is a better word." That's Peter Carbonne, a man who spent one career being the eyes and ears of an organization that exploited what it found, and who chose, in his retirement, to be the eyes and ears of an organization trying to tell the truth. Same skills, same quiet, same coffee, a completely different reason to get up before dawn. He didn't want to be a spy. He wanted to be a listener. And it turns out the whole organization can hang on the difference between those two words. So why does a character with this little page time get a whole episode? Because Peter Carbonne is the proof that this world runs on quiet people. The whole series is full of big personalities, combat commanders, directors, ancient orders, factions at war over the nature of truth itself. And underneath all of it, holding the door, is an old man in a brown cap who sells bait and notices things. Leviathan 7's eyes above the surface, the gateway, the single point that every new member of the organization has to pass through to get to the deep. And the listener, the one who hears the things that don't fit, the strangers who stay too long, the conversations that stop when he walks in, and quietly tells the one person who needs to know. If you want one image to remember him by, a lit window on a dark pier before dawn with 2 cups of coffee already poured. That's the whole organization's connection to the world above. That's Peter. Thank you to whoever dropped his name in the comments. This was a good one to write. If there's a character you want me to do next, somebody who only gets a few pages but clearly matters, put the name in the comments. That's exactly how we got here today. And if you still haven't taken the faction quiz from the last episode, the one that sorts you into NHA, Manta Militia, Leviathan 7, or Descendants of Duat, the link's in the description. For what it's worth, I think Peter is about as pure a Leviathan 7 soul as the books have. Quiet, loyal, in it for the right reasons. Subscribe for more lore drop. We're working through this world one character, one faction, one quiet sentinel at a time. See you on the next one.